I think fundamentally any scientific activity involves interaction and exchange of ideas. So ultimately we do research not for its own sake, but to engage with others and create knowledge. So conferences like this just provide an opportunity for everyone to get together and share the latest research and exchange ideas and see maybe get exposed to new ideas that you hadn't seen before. For me, in particular, this meeting is one of the sort of oldest and most well-attended regional meetings of the Econometric Society. The Econometric Society is very important for my work, so it was very exciting to get the invitation to come down here. I was excited to attend this particular meeting, and then the fact that it was in Ecuador, that seemed also very exciting. I'd never been here, so I'm very happy to be here right now. I think it's a great opportunity. Also coming from the United States, research more and more in many fields, but I think certainly in economics, it's more international, right? So people are involved in things of interest to me all over the world. So by coming here, I get to get exposed to a set of researchers that I get to see less of, and so I get to learn about what's going on here. So it's really great. Networks, once you start thinking about them, you see them everywhere. So think about firms. So firms buy inputs and sell inputs to other firms. So if you're manufacturing an automobile, you buy parts, tires, engine parts from other firms, and you then sell your car to other firms possibly, or to final consumers. So the entire economy consists of a set of relationships, which I guess in this example constitute a supply chain. And of course, we want to understand how technology spreads through the supply chain, how shocks affect the supply chain. So as an econometrician, I'm very interested in modeling this type of data structure because it's everywhere. I hope this could be useful to a policymaker someday. So imagine a policymaker is trying to decide whether to allow two firms to merge, right? So this is a common question that regulators face. Hopefully the methods I construct might help the policymaker understand, well, if these two firms merge, this is what's going to happen upstream and downstream on the supply chain. And networks are everywhere. The pattern of trade between countries you can think about as a network. So if we want to model international trade, we can use econometric methods of networks. Friendships among people, many types of data have this natural relational structure where you can think of there's a set of agents and then there's a set of relationships between these agents, and that's what I'm trying to model. So any type of data structure that sort of fits that pattern might be of potential interest, and I think such data structures are fairly numerous in economics. Well, as an econometrician, I'm particularly excited about the scale and scope of and nature of the types of data that are becoming available to researchers. So larger data sets, more complicated data sets. So I'm especially interested in data sets that have this relational network structure. So I think there's a lot to be done, both methodologically and empirically, using these new, bigger, more complicated sources of data. There's a tremendous amount of work to be done there. But I don't know, I'm always surprised about the diversity of things that people study in economics, and I don't think I have super strong views that question A is really important and question B is or is not. I think there's lots to be done. There's always interesting questions, and the fun part is thinking it all through. I became interested in networks because I was interested in inequality, right? So, think about a job market, right? So there's tremendous amount of inequality in wages and earnings across individuals in most countries of the world. And now let's think about how an individual gets a job. Well, your network of acquaintances, referrals, contacts is really important for information about what job opportunities are available and so on. So there, the referral process or the set of acquaintances you have can be very important for your labor market outcomes. And if you come from a particularly disadvantaged background, you might not have access to that same network of information. And so understanding how networks are formed can be important for understanding how people find jobs, which then can be important for, say, understanding inequality. That's one example. I think there's a lot of examples in international economics about understanding patterns of trade among countries, which is super important for the development and growth of nation states that have this network structure. So that's really what I'm interested in, is by modeling these networks, we can model how policies affect their shape. Does joining a free trade agreement increase trade among two countries? But then we can also understand the effects of these networks on other outcomes like inequality, for example. So, that's what I'm up to. So, yeah.